Hey everybody, I'm that one guy, and I wanted to create a series of videos to go over the Weakauras I've created. The whole purpose of the Weakauras is obviously to help you better understand your spec and hopefully help you play better as a result, but also to gamify the game. Because WoW does present you with some spell alerts for the specs you play, but not all. And so that leaves you looking for ways to identify if a certain buff or debuff is active. And that's where Weakauras can come in play. And I wanted to do more than just have an icon with a timer in it, right? I wanted to try to present you with visual effects that make it feel more like a video game and immerse you more into the spec you're playing. At least that's the idea. So in these videos, I'm going to go over the Weakauras I've created, how I intend for them to work, and show you how you can modify them if you'd like. So whether you've already found my Weakauras, or you're looking for some for a certain spec, or you just want to have a better idea of how Weakauras work in general, hopefully these videos will help you with that. Vengeance Demon Hunter or Vengeance DH. When making Weakauras for tanks, it can get a little tricky just because sometimes the stuff that you care more about as a tank isn't as much so your offensive abilities and cooldowns as it is like your defensive stuff and whatever you've got going on there. So if you feel like you'd rather see some of that or that you feel like some of that's lacking or missing, let me know in the comments because I'm always open to feedback and looking to try to improve things, especially for the people who main these specs and want to use these Weakauras because it's for you guys. Like I play a lot of these classes that you see me make Weakauras for, a lot of these specs just kind of recreationally and don't always get a huge chance to play test all of them. So you know, I'm always interested to hear what people have to say that play the spec a lot and how they might feel and what their opinions are. So this is what I have for Vengeance. It's going to look remarkably similar to Havoc, just because they're so similar in a lot of their abilities, and it's easier to just kind of recreate some stuff and take it over to Vengeance from Havoc and vice versa, just so you can get used to knowing what that means and not having to make something entirely different or new. We'll start with just the Demon Hunter general stuff. This is stuff that's shared between Havoc and Vengeance. Let me minimize all this and just go one by one. So, speaking of being open to feedback, someone suggested that I add at least like a button or icon or something for tracking your longer cooldowns, because originally if it was a minute and a half or longer, I didn't put it on your screen. But they made a good suggestion. And again, open to feedback, wanting to make things better for people if they're interested in using these packs. And now I'll have to go back through all of my other Weakura packs and add these back in. But basically, when your major abilities, in this case the Hunt and Metamorphosis, are off cooldown, you will see those little buttons, those icons right beneath your feet. And then they will show back up when there is 10 seconds left on the cooldown. So they'll be visible in combat. You'll see those buttons to push them when they are off cooldown, and then after you've used them, they'll go away, but when there's 10 seconds left, they'll pop back up, right? And you'll see 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 right there, just so you can be aware, right? You don't have to guess. If you don't see anything there, it's not coming up. When it's got 10 seconds left, it'll pop up right there, so you can just be more in the know. Sigil of Flame, this is one that Havoc has as well. Difference being in this, you've got 2 charges, so purple means you have 2 charges, green means you have 1, and obviously when you have 0 charges, it's gone. Sigil of Spite, right? When it's off cooldown, you'll see that. So different than these, right? Because it's a 1 minute cooldown. I was originally making those, so that pops up on your screen when Sigil of Spite is off cooldown. Immolation Aura, same thing on Havoc. If you don't have the buff, if you don't have the Immolation Aura buff and it's off cooldown, or like if you have multiple charges of it, if you have 1 charge or more, you'll see this pop up on your screen letting you know, activate Immolation Aura. Vengeful Retreat, big fan of symmetry and a little bit of OCD. So Sigil of Flame is this circle here, Vengeful Retreat is that circle here. And that's the green that this will be when it's at 1 charge. And the reason those are both empty circles, you'll find out in exactly now. So Fellblade goes inside this circle, right? Just kind of your movement things backwards, forwards. When Fellblade's off cooldown, you'll see it right there. Helpful for Aldrachi Reaver because it resets that, so you know that you can use that. And when you have when you have Vengeful Retreat back off cooldown, you're going to have Fellblade, just because they reset each other. Your Fury, again shared with Havoc, Caspar, and then Metamorphosis. Right, when you're in Metamorphosis, you'll see a progress timer. I can make maybe a visual effect if someone cares for that, just something else that pops up on your screen, like a video game. But right now, just a progress tracker letting you know how much time is left on Metamorphosis. And this is all the stuff that's going to be there whether you're in Vengeance or Havoc. As for the Vengeance specific things, Demon Spikes, right? I don't have anything to like tell you how many charges you have. Like, hey, it's off cooldown, you can use it, because it didn't read, at least in the guide, it didn't read like something you're just spamming off cooldown. It read like use it if you have nothing else. So instead of something screaming at you that it's off cooldown and you don't want to push the button, it's only going to show when it's active, and this obviously is a progress tracker letting you know how much time is left on that buff until it expires. Soul fragments. Okay. I know you can have more than 5, but the buff only goes up to 5. And I looked through other people's Weakauras, and it only went up to 5. If you have a way or know how to get it to show more than 5 and you want it to, let me know. And what I would probably do is then just have that change colors to like green, because the theme is purple and green for Demon Hunters. I would probably just have them change to green, indicating 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But otherwise, it only goes up to 5 to show you that you have at least 5. I don't have anything to track the buff that you get from using them. Soul Furnace, I don't have anything that shows, hey, you've gotten 10 or how close you are to that in the progress, or if you have it active. If that's something that, again, like in terms of feedback, if that's something you disagree with and you're like, I absolutely have to know how close I am to having Soul Furnace and when it's active, let me know, and we can find a way to like add that as a tracker somewhere. Whether it be through just a boring plain button or something visually appealing, just let me know. Fel Devastation, exact same thing as I-Beam on Havoc. I even put them on the same keybind as each other, so when Fel Devastation is off cooldown, it looks like that. Could add some functionality to like gray it out if it's not usable. It's up to you, again, the player. If there's not enough fury to use it, it could have it be grayed out, just so you know, like, oh, I have that, but I don't have enough fury to cast it. Or just leave it like that, and then you have to use your own brain and know to get enough fury to be able to use it. Fracture is this, and that's what goes inside the Sigil of Flame circle. It has a black background, and that's just supposed to be like fractured Fel stuff, right? Because of fracture. That black background is black when you have 2 charges of fracture, and it's purple when at 1, and then obviously no charges, that icon is completely gone. But just trying to use more visual cues to let you know, rather than a number or something else on your screen, or having 2 of those side by side, again, because I'm a big fan of symmetry, a little OCD. I'm just trying to use what's already there space-wise, but try to maximize the information it's giving you. If that's difficult or complicated, obviously you can think of something else, but basically the color tells you black means you'll know if you have it or not, because there will be an icon there, and then it's just up to you to remember purple means 1 charge, black means 2. Or you can just spam it till the icon's gone. Soul Carver is Essence Burst from Havoc. Just made it a different color. That's because the icons are both blades, so I just blades with stuff exploding or coming off of them. So I just use the same thing. When Soul Carver is off cooldown, you'll see that. Nothing to track its progress. If you'd like to know, again, something you can add, but basically just telling you when it's off cooldown, and then when you've used it, it goes away. Fiery Brand, right? This is Chaos Theory on Havoc. What it's looking for is the debuff active on your target, and is it off cooldown? If the debuff is not active and it's off cooldown, that will pop up on your screen, letting you know to push the button. And none of these are going to show until you are in combat, right? So you're not just running around in the major cities with all this stuff on your screen. But that's it for like the general Demon Hunter things, for just the things that are shared, and then the stuff that's Vengeance specific. Again, if anything in there you're like, oh, I really need to know about blank, just put it in the comments. All right. As for the hero talent, I'm not tracking anything with Fel-Scarred. It didn't look like there was anything that, you know, was really groundbreaking or that you needed to track with Fel-Scarred. Again, if you disagree, let me know, because I'm going off of what I, read a little bit, vaguely saw for Vengeance, but mostly what I remember from Havoc. But I know that even in Aldrachi, they're very different. Like in Aldrachi Reaver, Havoc only goes up to 6 soul fragments before you get your Reaver's Glaive, but that's not true for Vengeance. Vengeance goes up to 20, so I had to realize that and then change the Weakura so that it tracks all the way up to 20. That's a lot. So I wouldn't blame you if you're like, that's way too many, I don't really care. Because it also could just be something that you play, right? You're already kind of tracking some form of soul fragments, so you don't really need all those. But otherwise, this would let you know your progress up to that 20th soul fragment before you get your Reaver's Glaive. All right, if you want, you can just also right-click and delete these. It's not going to break anything else in the Weakura. Everything's interdependent and they work on their own. So if you delete children in a group, it's everything else is going to work just fine. Just those would go away. After you use your Reaver's Glaive, you get these 2 buffs, Rending Strike and Glaive Flurry. After you use Rending Strike, you can get Reaver's Mark, up to 2 charges of it. So that's when you'll see 1 and 2 charges in the progress of them, or sorry, I should say 2 stacks of the debuff on your target. So this lets you know how many stacks you have and then the duration of those on your target. And then after you've also consumed both of these 2 buffs, Glaive Flurry and Rending Strike, you get Thrill of the Fight, right? And these are 2 different progress trackers that are just stacked on top of each other because, again, it just kind of looks on theme. Again, blue and purple stuff. Looks like Fel energy coming through the void, right? The nether. But the purple one is tracking like your haste buff. That may even be like a leech buff too. But then the green one is a damage buff that it's tracking. So those will obviously tick down to 0 to let you know how much time is active on those. And that's it for Aldrachi Reaver. Again, you can right click and delete anything. One thing I did want to mention that I think I forgot is that if you want to change like when this pops up on your screen, because this means that one, it'll show when it's off cooldown, right? These are the hunt and metamorphosis. But if you want to know when there's like 30 seconds or 15 seconds or some other arbitrary number like 7 or 13, you come in here to either of them, the CDs, right? And it'll show the little selection on those icons. And you go to the trigger tab and you would just change the remaining time. Whatever you set the remaining time to is when that's going to pop up on your screen relative to the cooldown. So this means when there's 10 seconds left on the cooldown, show that icon on my screen, and I have it also set to show the time as well. So if you want it to be 30 seconds, you just come in here and change it to 30 and press enter, and that means when there's 30 seconds left on your hunt CD, it's going to show up right there and be counting down from 30. I have it just set to 10 just because I feel like 10 is enough time where it's not going to be on your screen for forever without you being able to do anything about it, but it's on there long enough for you to, know it's coming up. They'll only show when you're in combat. So if you want them to show when you're out of combat, you'd go to the load tab and uncheck this in combat box. Don't leave it red. Red means it will not show in combat and it'll only show out of combat. Unchecked like this means it'll just show all the time in combat or not. So if it's something you'd like to know even when you're not in combat when you have it, right? Because as maybe you're going from pack to pack and then plus when you drop combat, you didn't have to go all the way and look way so far down at your bars. But right now, set to only show in combat. So that's everything for like the general stuff, Vengeance specific, and then the hero talent. Don't have anything for Fel-Scarred again because I didn't see anything super specific. It just kind of changes some of your abilities. But I'm going to show you what it would look like in gameplay. This is not a guide by any means. This is more so just kind of like how the Weakauras look. And he said as soon as you enter combat, you can see everything. And there's going to be a lot as soon as you enter combat because everything is off cooldown, right? My fiery brand isn't on the target and is off cooldown. My immolation aura is off cooldown and usable. Sigil of Spite, same thing. And as you use them, they go away, right? You see how many soul fragments I have related to just that Vengeance buff, not Aldrachi, also called soul fragments. Immolation aura is back. This tells me that I have Fellblade, and that tells me I have Vengeful Retreat. Oop. Oh no, we have to jump all the way back up, right? This tells me I have 2 charges of Fracture, 1 charge of Fracture, no Fracture at all, right? Immolation aura is back up. There, you're back to 1 charge of Fracture. So like if you don't get the color thing, you'll at least know if you have it or not, right? And you could just set that to just be the black background all of the time, so that you just know it's there if you don't necessarily care too much about how many charges there are. And then that circle around it is Sigil of Flame, right? I used it, so now it's green, letting me know I have 1 charge of that. I use it again, and it's gone, right? And look, all your other stuff is back up off cooldown, right? This on our screen the whole time lets me know I can use Fel Devastation. And that's it, right? Fiery Brand's back. Your Sigil of Spite's back. And I know because of these, I have the Hunt, goes away. And there's your Arthur Glaive and the 2 buffs from that, right? Where you can then get Reaver's Mark and Thrill of the Fight. And then this tells me I have Metamorphosis, right? Just like that. That's it. That's how the whole thing is kind of designed to work and how it's set up to go. And I don't have anything that lets you know about, I think it's Soul Furnace, right? Letting you know its cooldown and where it's at or anything like that. But I have all this other stuff All right, I do think that the all of those souls would get pretty annoying. 20 is such a large number to have to get to and track that it may just be better to not track it at all than to have that stack up to 20 on there. But again, you can kind of see. Oh, and then there's demon spikes, right? How it all works, like just pretty instant, easy visual cues to let you know what you do or don't have, without having to check your action bars, because again, there can be a lot of abilities to track and a lot of short cooldown abilities to track. And so instead of having to look at a bunch of different things and then be deciding on the fly, you just can see right there where you're looking, where you're staring at the thing you're attacking. You can see the casts happening, you can see swirlies at your feet, and you can know I've got Fiery Brand, Immolation Aura, Sigil of Spite, right? Instead of having to look all of those in all your different places on the action bar. And look, there's the hunt coming up off cooldown. Right, and it didn't show because I wasn't in combat, but yeah, you see, and there you go. Now it's back. So that's how it's all designed to work. That's the idea of it as I jump through this thing. Again, nothing that I'm tracking in specifically for Fel-Scarred, and you didn't see Soul Carver because the talent isn't taken in this loadout. But if you do take Soul Carver, you would see it in this spot up here. But that's it. That's what I've got for Vengeance. Now again, if you have feedback or an opinion on what needs to be shown, let me know in the comments below. You can delete and move anything you like. It's not going to hurt my feelings. You're the person that's playing with it, so you enjoy. So other than that, I hope you like it and have fun. Again, I hope you found that helpful. I do intend to make a Weakura pack for every spec. So if I haven't made one for the spec that you play or that you'd like to see, just comment that down below. Again, I do intend to make one for every spec, but if I see people asking for it or really wanting one, I'll probably get to it quicker than if I just do it on my slow, leisurely pace. I hope it will enhance your gameplay. Like I said, it's all about gamifying the game and making it more fun and more immersive for you, while also helping you improve as a player, because the information that you need to react to is hopefully more readily available. If you have any other questions about this Weakura pack that you just watched or any other ones, again, please feel free to comment. I try to be as interactive as possible in my YouTube section. And that's it. I hope you have a great day.